there, and welcome to Freshly Distilled. I'm Alex Serrano. I'm the account coordinator here at Social Distillery.
And I'm Christina Linnell. I'm the director of social media here. So we are really excited about the couple of discussions that we're going to embark on in the next few minutes. And the first one is kind of a hot topic item, which is influencer marketing.
Yep. And then shortly after that, we are excited to announce that we have Ricky Holm in the office today. Ricky is the founder of Chocolate Milk and Donuts, which is a VR agency here in Austin.
So before we go any further, do us a favor. Stop what you're doing, share this Facebook Live with all of your tribe, invite them to come listen because we've got some really good information they're not going to want to miss. So we want to start off with kind of what we've been doing this summer. We really the entire staff loves how hot it is. That's all we talk about every day in the office is that we really love that it was 110 degrees yesterday in Austin. And
mine was 111 in my car.
Well, we heard out in the hill country there were spots that it was like 114. So we're really loving it. And so because of that, we're figuring out ways to cool off. And so being in Austin, we love heading over to Barton Springs and cooling off. I know my family, we actually went tubing at the Comal on Sunday, and it was, I can't tell you how amazing it was. It was ice cold and it was fantastic. I actually forgot that it was 108 degrees out that day. But we've also been doing Blues on the Green and also Trailer Park Tuesdays over at the Long Center has been kind of fun. We also have taken the opportunity this summer to do a lot of networking, which sometimes we just don't have the time to do that, so we've been taking advantage of that. And as a team, we headed over to Friends and Allies Brewery for the Austin Women in Technology meetup and had a great time, got to meet some new women in our industry as well as kind of network as a group and get to know each other a little bit better, and we really enjoyed the beer.
Yes,
so shout out to Friends and Allies. Really, really great stuff. And if you haven't been, you guys need to check it out. I actually got an opportunity to speak for the National Association for Realtors recently to their Communication Institute. And they bring all their communicators around the country in. And I was able to talk with a panel about best practices in social media. So we had a really good time doing that. And Kristen, our CEO, had a great turnout for a Austin Women Communities meetup that they had, and she spoke specifically about all the privacy changes for GDPR, and it was really still incredible to see the stats of how privacy is changing for brands and businesses, and more importantly how the government is fining those businesses that are not aligning with the new regulations. And finally, we have really also taken a lot of time to, we're big educators here. We like continued education. And so for us, how we're doing that is through like one of our technology partners, Spreadfast. They put on some amazing webinars and we'll tune into those. But we've also done some Sprout Social webinars
and
for learning.
Amazing.
Yeah, we really want to stay on top of what we know and our best practices to recommend to all of our clients. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been a really busy summer.
Yeah.
Since it is Tech Tuesday, we would love to share some new features that we have been using and are really excited about. First things first, Instagram is on fire lately with their features. One of our favorites, we love that Spotify is now partnering with Instagram, and we're actually able to share music on our Instagram stories, which is really cool.
Okay, I'm going to cut you off. I still cannot do this. Every day I make sure that Instagram is updated, my software is updated. What's up, Instagram?
She's waiting with bated breath.
I mean, my fans need to hear my music choices.
And you would use it to its like full
no
capacity.
question. Every day I would do a story with another yacht rock selection.
No, I know you. You totally would. Totally would. She would be perfect for it. So listen up, Instagram.
That's right.
Get her the new feature. So that's just one of the many other things Instagram is doing. You're also able to share posts from other people in your Instagram stories. Personally, I haven't used this yet, but I have seen several other people using it, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I could definitely see how this could work for a lot of different clients and a lot of just users in general. One more thing that Instagram is doing lately, they are integrating with Eventbrite, and so now you have the option to have a get tickets button in your profile. So if you're a restaurant owner out there, you work at a music venue, something to keep in mind. Really, really cool.
Yeah.
Lastly, Spreadfast has introduced Spreadfast Vault. So as Christina mentioned, we use Spreadfast a lot in a lot of different ways for our clients, and it's really cool to see that they're continuously rolling out new features.
Mm-hmm.
So at its core, Spreadfast Vault is a really great security feature. All of your admins have access to this vault, but they don't actually need to be added natively to each admin as an admin on each feature. So really cool. They don't need their passwords either. We could see it working really well for large enterprises as well as big companies that have a lot of users.
Yeah, it's a really great feature.
Yeah.
Glad they're rolling stuff like that out.
Yeah.
So we're gonna transition over to our topic of influencers.
Yeah.
So we love to scroll through our Instagram feed or look at Facebook, and we see influencers that we really love keeping up with. But I bet you probably have the same experience. More and more influencers are kind of inundating our feeds. So Alex and I had been talking, and we were kind of wondering, is there going to be a tipping point? Is there going to be a point where influencers saturate the market? And so we thought we would kind of share kind of our thoughts on it. And my bottom line is I don't really think it will. And the reason being is because I feel like there's so many businesses and there's so many influencers that there's enough playing room for everybody, and everything moves so quickly that you can kind of see it. Now, with that in mind, we have definitely seen influencers that do it really well, and then we have seen influencers that don't do it quite as well. And how that looks for us is that when we scroll through their feed, all we see is paid sponsorship, etc., partnership. And it doesn't really feel authentic to us anymore. It doesn't feel like they're sharing who they are. But one influencer, local influencer that we adore is Camille Styles. And we have watched her kind of grow her lifestyle blog from just that to, it kind of feels like this massive enterprise that she's got going. They have like a house that they work out of. She has an incredible team.
Yeah.
And when you do scroll through her Instagram feed specifically, you know, she has a little over 140,000 followers on Instagram. But I think the reason is that she actually engages. I don't know if you've noticed that. She engages with pretty much everybody. Now, we're not silly enough to think that she's actually always doing that. She has a team that is well equipped. But that's the thing, is that they're actually engaging with their audience. And then you'll see, once in a while, you'll see a paid sponsorship pop up. But I really feel like I'm actually seeing her. When she's traveling, she's asking her tribe for where she should go eat, or she's a shot of her eating pizza at a local pizzeria, things like that. I feel like it's authentically still her, even after all these years.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely. I mean, she's using social the way that it's supposed to be used,
Right.
which I absolutely love, and I feel like a lot of influencers stray away from. But yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think that authenticity is key here. You know, I read a statistic recently that influencer marketing is now a $1 billion industry. That is a billion with a B.
Billion.
So it is not
That's
going
crazy.
away.
Yep.
Yeah, not going away anytime soon. But you know, like anything that works really well, people are going to flood that market. So just something to keep in mind for influencers. You know, when I'm scrolling through my feed and you see that every other post is sponsored, when I put on my brand goggles from, you know, a brand perspective, do you really want to work with that person? I don't know. It's really a fine line, but to me, I think less is more when it comes to sponsorships.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And sometimes, you know, someone may have 1 million followers. They may not be the right fit for you. Maybe someone with 10K, even 1,000.
Absolutely.
Could be
Micro.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's what I love about Camille is that we heard her speak at Social Media Week here in Austin, and she has been really strategic about who she partners with.
Yes.
It really has to align with her brand voice and what they really believe in, and I feel like you can see that by what she puts out.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we would love to hear your thoughts. Be sure to tweet us at Social Distiller using hashtag Freshly Distilled. We are actually going to switch gears right now. I'm excited to say that we have Ricky Holm in the office.
Yeah.
Ricky is from Chocolate Milk and Donuts. So hang tight. We will be right back. thank you for waiting. As I mentioned earlier, we have Ricky joining us today. Ricky Holm is the founder of Chocolate Milk and Donuts, which is a creative agency that is dedicated to the art of storytelling through VR, AR, and 360 video. Again, if you have any questions for Ricky, please be sure to leave them in the comments.
And can I just say, we've heard about this, but we actually got it this time. Every place that Ricky goes, he brings the donuts and he brings chocolate milk. So he did not fail us. A whole dozen donuts that we are going to try not to eat until we're done.
And they have not touched them, which is surprising.
It's been good.
So,
Yeah,
that's
welcome.
right.
Glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
So, yes, thank you so much for being here today. Ricky, I just want to start by asking, what makes VR and AR so interesting to you,
Yep.
and what inspired you to build Chocolate Milk and Donuts?
All right, so let's see. I mean, we are creatures of story, right? We've been passing traditions and education down through story for as long as we've been around,
Yeah.
walking on two legs. And so I believe that virtual reality and augmented reality is the next level of storytelling, right?
Yeah.
It gives us the ability to tell better stories in a more kind of passionate and intriguing way. And I've always been in love with storytelling since I was a kid, whether it's a good film, you know, sitting around the campfire, or just telling a good story. And so that to me was a huge driver for that.
Right.
And so then I've also, my background is in more traditional production, video and animation, that type of stuff. And so when first time I saw a VR piece, this was like 3 years ago, I think, maybe a little longer, I'm not sure. It was for the Cirque du Soleil. And I got to watch the Cirque du Soleil perform, and not as if I'm sitting in the audience and they're performing to me. What I got to watch was Cirque du Soleil was performing to me, the viewer.
Oh, wow.
And so they were coming out from the orchestra pit, and they were, you know, coming from the ceiling, and it was this unique experience that even if you had all the money in the world and paid to sit in the front row in New York during a Cirque du Soleil show, you would never have that experience.
Wow.
And so I still remember that to this day.
Yeah.
And once I saw that, I was like, okay, there's something here. Like, this is pretty cool. And so those two things combined, off to the races we went.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
So again, we're very interested in VR, obviously. But could you tell us what virtual reality is in your own words? I know for a lot of people, it kind of goes over their head. If I'm being honest, it's a little overwhelming to me. So I'm just curious, considering you're an expert, what it means to you.
So I consider virtual reality to be an interactive experience for folks. It's not the traditional fly on a wall, you know, we're sitting here watching events unfold on the TV. This is a technology that allows users to get inside the experience, to control the experience. And every time you use it or have one of these experiences, it's a unique experience to the user. And that makes it incredibly unique in the world of you know, digital media, for instance. And so I think that's the most kind of easiest way to describe it is it's an interactive digital medium that allows the user to have a unique experience every single time they have one of these experiences.
Yeah,
So.
it definitely sounds really groundbreaking. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
What are some of the projects you're currently working on right now? It seems
If
like
you
you
can share.
Yeah, if you can share. It seems
yes,
like
of
it's
course.
very innovative right now.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I'll give you just a little bit more detail because some of these projects will make sense. So we use the word virtual reality very interchangeably. And what we're really talking about are three separate technologies. We have virtual reality, which I imagine, think about that as a magic blindfold, right? That's the headset, you're whisked off to Mars, right? Then there's augmented reality, which is all the rage now, and that is thank you to Apple and Google for making, I mean, what we can do with AR today is absolutely crazy with nothing more than the phone in your pocket. We can talk about that later if you'd like.
Yes.
And the third technology is 360 video. And that again is like a traditional video, but now the user has the ability to kind of look around and explore their surroundings. So those are the three different technologies. We help our partners create all three of these.
Oh, okay.
So with that in mind, we got to finish a project, and I'm allowed to talk about this one,
Okay.
just recently for the Texas DOT. And so this was for a campaign where they needed to teach young adults about make them aware of motorcycles on the road. Because as we know, when we're all 15 and 16 learning to drive, we're the best drivers in the world, obviously. And so what they had to do though is this is a very hard to engage with group of individuals, right? We know everything at that age, we've got 100 million things to do, you know, making sure that we look at our Instagram is more important than learning how to drive safely.
Right.
So what we did is we helped the Texas DOT create, and we partnered with a local agency in town to do this, we help them create a virtual reality game that they use at live events, and it's a competitive game. So now young adults can come compete against each other in this virtual reality game, but at the same time, they're learning about motorcycle safety.
Oh, wow.
And so the whole time you're playing this game, it's just like beating into their heads, like make sure the way you win is to be the most aware driver. And so it was a really cool use of the technology. And that's more of a traditional kind of way that we see VR used. It's very popular, and it's a great use case for live events or that type of thing. And on the opposite side of the spectrum, just to give you something totally out of the blue, this was a different way you can think about this tech. We just finished a project where we helped a sporting company. They had a major problem with sizing, fitment online, right? So when you order a product online, it's like, what size shirt do you wear? I wear a large in everything. 80% of the stuff I order fits. What we did with them is using nothing more than a mobile device. And they sell gloves. They're a specialty glove manufacturer. Using nothing more than the mobile device, you can basically point your phone at your hand, and we can give you a 95% accurate reading on what size glove you need to purchase.
Oh my gosh.
That's
And that is done through
That's
nothing more
amazing.
than augmented reality technology. And what's even great about that, or even better now, is we don't have to use a mobile app. That can be done through the web. And so, again, it's absolutely phenomenal what you can do with this stuff. And that's kind of a traditional, experience we build, and kind of a more non-traditional one that we've also built recently. So.
Oh, that was so cool.
Yeah.
The future is here.
Yes. Yes.
I guess jumping off of that, this is obviously a new medium to a lot of people,
Yes.
and with the new medium comes a lot of different challenges. So what are some of the challenges that you are experiencing, and some hurdles that you're having to jump through lately?
Gotcha. Now's a very exciting time for this technology. We have so many powerful tools at our fingertips. For instance, in the last few months, Oculus has come out with a new headset.
Cool.
This is a new Oculus Go. These are only $200. There's no phone
You're
needed.
kidding.
There's nothing else you need except for this and a charger to keep it going.
It's self-contained.
That's right. It's all self-contained. It's comfortable. They last for hours. Again, these are cheaper than a big fancy dinner with you and your friends, right? They're very affordable. And this is just one of the tools that's come online recently. And so, we have these tools at our fingertips, and so that is a huge opportunity. The biggest challenge we're still seeing from our perspective is that a lot of folks still consider this technology as an afterthought. And so when they're planning their yearly budgets, when they're thinking about what they're going to present to their clients, because again, we work a lot with marketing departments and ad agencies, they don't include these experiences in those upfront budgets. And so a lot of times, we get brought in partway through a campaign or, as an afterthought. And so, that makes it a challenge when you want to get the most success out of these projects. You really need to build them into a fully integrated marketing campaign and not have them as a standalone afterthought. And when you do that, we are seeing analytics and data coming back from these experiences that absolutely blow traditional media out of the water. But you have to make it a part of your long-term kind of strategy. Even if it's a small portion, you have to start that conversation early. Or it's very, very hard to get quality results.
We're huge believers in integrated marketing for sure. So that's kind of music to our ears for sure. So we've talked about how prevalent the technology is, where it's in, and a lot of people actually argue that there's too much technology, right? And it's too distracting. So what are your thoughts on that?
So I think that we all, it's funny, I saw an app come out or Apple now has a thing where you can block yourself from your own iPhone, which I kind of got a kick out of. I wonder the statistics on how many people use that. But, so one of the things that, we're all aware the World Cup just ended, right? And so, a lot of times if I'm watching a soccer match by myself, I'm staring at my iPhone or whatever, or my tablet, and it's it's a singular experience. And so during the World Cup, thanks to this device I just showed you a second ago, I was able to watch the games live in virtual reality with one of my best friends who lives in Atlanta.
Oh, cool.
He has one of my headsets. I sent it to him in the mail. We both got on Facebook's kind of, internal, I'm blanking on the name right now, but it was integrated into Fox's broadcast of the World Cup. So we were able to sit in the same room together. I could see his avatar, he could see me. We could communicate and have this very unique experience only because of technology.
Wow.
Otherwise, I would have been sitting by myself,
Right.
being distracted from work either way,
Yeah.
you know, and watching the World
World
Cup,
Cup,
right? And so that's one example.
Right.
And then at the same time, I got to go home and visit my family who lives in Seattle recently. And my 91-year-old grandmother, God bless her heart, she's still kicking, love her to death. Love you, Grandma. She's a school teacher, and so she loves education. But she's also 91, right? And so she's getting up there in age. Still sharp as a tack, but moving around is tricky.
Right.
And so she's not able to travel anymore. And we just finished a project where we filmed all over the United States for a local education company. And we created these virtual reality field trips, 360 video. And I was able to let my grandmother go experience the new 9/11 memorial. It's something that she will never physically be able to do
Right.
because of
Still
her
experience
condition.
it.
And she was able to go there and
Yeah.
see that. And so like that is another opportunity or another example of how, when used properly and
Right.
in moderation,
Yes.
Yeah.
these pieces of technology are incredibly valuable.
Yeah.
So
That's good. We like to hear that.
Yeah,
That's
that's
everything in
really
moderation for sure.
that's
Yes.
right, except for donuts.
Yeah, no, that's the only thing. So you touched on augmented reality, which
That's
I've played with it a little bit, even on Facebook, and they have certainly rolled out the red carpet for AR and different things, whether it's the shoppable type features, etc. Have you seen any other platforms that are kind of embracing that?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we have. So we've all heard of Amazon. At least I assume we've all heard of Amazon. Little company. And what Amazon did during Prime Day is they actually rolled out an entire slew of augmented reality applications as well. And so they had a couple of different things where you can, the big one being that if you want to buy some new physical, tangible item for your house, let's see if that red toaster actually looks good in my kitchen, right? And so that was just one of them. The other one was you can now scan items, and this is brilliant, obviously. Anywhere, any product, you can pick it up and just point your phone at it, and it'll automatically pull it up on and price check it for you on Amazon.
Oh wow!
And so not only now do they, getting that, the data that comes with that and all that is really great.
Yeah.
We've also seen just recently, Sherwin-Williams released a thing now where you can we tested this, and my friend of mine just bought a new condo, and we're sitting there checking out different paint colors on
Yes,
the walls.
I have done that one.
Right?
Yeah.
And spatially, we're both like, baby blue, baby red. And so, there's a lot of really cool applications that you can build. Again, now because of what the underlying software that both Apple and Android or Google have provided on their mobile platforms, you can, leverage those. That's the hard stuff. Computer vision and the very, very technical stuff, they've figured that stuff out.
Yeah.
And so now as content creators or marketers, we have the ability to leverage those technologies and put our content on top of them, like these other platforms are doing. And again, you can see absolutely phenomenal results with those.
Yeah.
So
Kind of endless opportunities, probably.
that's right.
Right.
That's right. And then obviously the selfie thing, we're doing some statistics. I think last year they said that, it's 500,000 people a week on Facebook post a selfie or some crazy thing, or it's outrageous numbers.
Yeah.
And so now you can see that you have these augmented reality facial filters, which are Instagram, Snapchat,
Yes.
Facebook,
Right.
and so, anytime we can create our own content, our own unique special content,
Yeah.
we should be taking a selfie right now. And you can either layer your messaging, your brand, or anything over that. That's fantastic use of the technology as well.
Awesome. So last question we have is
Yeah.
a little change of gears. If someone was interested
Yes.
in kind of breaking into this type of career, virtual reality, augmented, what advice do you have for them?
Well, this is like any other art form, right? So you just have to get out there and do it. And one of the great things about VR and AR is that a lot of the platforms are free to start playing with. One of the softwares we use a lot of times is called Unity. It was originally designed as a game development software, but now it's kind of the industry standard for VR and AR applications. It's free. Just go download it. I'm not a developer by trade, and I have self-taught myself part of Unity just by playing with it, right? It's the same thing. You can get 360 video cameras now, consumer grade ones, right? Probably won't make your first feature-length film on it, but you can get one right now on Amazon for $175 shipped to your door, and they're 4K. And so, again, it's like any other art form. You have to get in there and you have to get your hands dirty and just play with it, right? And there's a great scene for this technology here in Austin.
Yeah.
There's a lot of companies doing really innovative work. And we have, what's really great here is we have a very open and inclusive community. And so if you want to get out and intern or hang out on a shoot or come to some of the local events, I encourage you to do it because this is one of the best communities in the world for this technology right here in our own backyard.
Well, that's great to hear.
That's
That's great
awesome.
to hear.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see where this goes. This is really cool.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Well, thanks again to Ricky. You can learn more about his agency by visiting his website, chocolatemiLkdonuts.com.
And I will say, you had mentioned you guys have an event tonight. You want to talk
That's
about that real
right.
quick?
That's right. We
Yeah.
do. All right. So I'm one of the co-organizers of a local group here in town. We're called Virtual Reality and 360 Video Austin. And so tonight we're doing the first ever Future Technology Showcase. And so if you're interested in this tech and you just want to check it out, we're going to have all of the latest and greatest VR headsets there. We're going to have a couple of local companies showing off different augmented reality applications. It's completely free. We'll have snacks because it's in that dinner hour. So if you're a little hungry after work, feel free.
We always love that.
And then we also have a local distillery by the name of Balcones Distillery who's doing whiskey sampling.
Oh, nice.
And then we also have Uncle Billy's Smokehouse and Brewery who's going to be there pouring beer. And so come check out some local tech, have a beer, have a snack, and see what all the talk is about. And it's
where are you
tonight,
guys?
that's right, thank you. It's tonight from 6 to 9 at the
Okay.
Capitol Factory,
Oh,
which is
yeah.
on 7th and Brazos,
Yep.
and it's on the main floor. So if you walk into the Omni Hotel,
You're there.
you're going to see us.
Yeah.
And again, it's free and open to all ages. So.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, y'all come on out to that. And that's a wrap for Freshly Distilled. If you have any questions, and you're making me mad. I want to bite. Make sure to email us at info@socialdistillery.com, and definitely sign up for one of our newsletters through our website at socialdistillery.com. And make sure, bookmark your calendar. We'll see you here, same time, same day, last Tuesday of every month. We'll see you in August. Thanks for tuning in.